remember you told Chris not long ago that the bird flu could make COVID look like a little pandemic, which was quite alarming. I mean, is that really the case?
Yes, Brian, I really do think it's very likely that we will at some time, it's not a question of if, it's more of a question of when, we will have a bird flu pandemic. As you mentioned, unfortunately, bird flu has, when it does enter humans, has a significant mortality, probably somewhere between 25 and 50% mortality. So it's going to be quite complicated. Once the virus gains the ability to attach to the human receptor, and then go human to human, that's when you're going to have the pandemic. And as I said, I think it's just a matter of time.
Here we go again. Here we go again, guys. Yeah, you just heard it. Bird flu. Bird flu is the new, I like to call it the pandemic. Yeah. We got another one, guys. We have another one. Kind of interesting timing, too. Kind of really interesting timing. Especially when you consider what Dr. Fauci said right before Trump's first term. And if you don't remember, here, check out this clip.
And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise outbreak.
There will be a surprise outbreak right before Trump's first term. And what do you know? Another surprise outbreak right before Trump's second term. Kind of interesting, huh? Bird flu. Bird flu. We're going to read a little bit of this here. Bird flu leads to severe human illness and state of emergency. Experts discuss risk. Bird flu H5N1 continues to spark warnings around the country. On Friday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, confirmed the country's first severe case of bird flu in a human. The patient, who lives in southwestern Louisiana, is currently hospitalized, according to a release from the Louisiana Department of Health. The infected person is known to have been exposed to sick and dead birds that are suspected to have been infected, the same source stated. The LDH is working with the CDC on genomic testing of the virus infecting the hospitalized patient. Fox News Digital reached out to the department for comment. There have been a total of 61 human cases throughout the country since April. No human-to-human transmission has been reported, leading the CDC to maintain its stance that risk to the public is low. Despite the low risk, California Governor Gavin Newsom on Wednesday declared a state of emergency due to the bird flu. The declaration follows an outbreak of the virus among dairy cows in Southern California farms, according to the news release on the governor's website. This proclamation is a targeted action to ensure government agencies have the resources and flexibility they need to respond quickly to this outbreak, Newsom said in a statement. Building on California's testing and monitoring system, the largest in the nation, we are committed to further protecting public health, supporting our agricultural industry, and ensuring that Californians have access to accurate, up-to-date information, he continued. While the risk to the public remains low, we will continue to take all necessary steps to prevent the spread of this virus. Yeah, this is just in time, guys, just in time. Sam Scarpino, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, doctor of life science at Northwestern University in Boston, said the tragic case in Louisiana is evidence of the widespread nature of H5N1 in the U.S. It also reinforces the very serious situation we are facing. We need to take more decisive action to control the spread of H5N1 in animal populations. We need to take more. Oh, wait, am I reading this over again? Yeah. Until then, we will continue to see human spillover cases, and some of them will unfortunately be severe. Dr. Mark Siegel, clinical professor of medical at NYU, blah, 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 pointed out that this severe case represents just one instance of the infection and is not necessarily cause for alarm. We'd have to know more about the patient's particular medical details, he told Fox. We can't conclude from one case that it's becoming more severe in humans. Previous iterations of bird flu have had a 50% death rate. Holy. Now, I can't lie. You know, now, am I panicking? No. But, hey, listen, if people start getting sick and half of them dropping dead, oh, call me the bubble boy. Paint me green, call me pickle, what? No, no. But all seriousness, yeah, I'm literally gonna become the bubble boy. 50%, holy. But the 61 human cases in the U.S. this far have been very mild. So yeah, obviously this 50% is quite scary. But then you read the next line, you're like, is this just to scare us again? I think, of course, it is, but that is actually a good sign that the virus is mutating away from severity, as traditionally H5N1 makes humans very sick, he told. The most critical thing to watch, according to the doctor, is whether bird flu will begin to spread from human to human. That's the key thing we're concerned about, that it doesn't get into the upper respiratory tract among humans. It hasn't up until now, and that's because it would take some mutations, at least one we're tracking that, but probably not closely enough. The vast majority of recent human cases have stemmed from direct contact with animals, he said, but it's now spreading into the cattle population and into milk, which worries a lot of people, including me. So yeah, right before Trump's second term, you have this situation going on. Quite interesting. Coincidence? I think not, but that's just my personal opinion. I think that this is intentional, but what do you say? Okay. Dr. Peter Hotez recently said some interesting things as well. And I'm going to play that clip for you because it reminds me of what Dr. Fauci said. That clip that I showed you guys earlier. Check out this one from Peter Hotez.
Here's the reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5.
Big stuff coming down the pipe starting January 21st? What? Well, by golly, what is special about January 20? Like, the virus is just going to wait until January 21st? Why is that? Oh, it's the day after Trump is actually officially president. Holy shit. Jinkies. What do you know? He just told on himself on live television. I bet he got a slap on the wrist for that after the fact. But carry on.
Then one that I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle, it's in the milk, and that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing in Asia. We've had SARS in 2002, SARS-2, COVID-19 in 2019, and we know these viruses are jumping from bats to people thousands of times a year, but there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine preventable diseases going up because of, in part, the anti-vaccine activism that's so prominent right now. We have a 5-fold rise in pertussis cases, whooping cough over the last year, 15 measles outbreaks this year. We've got polio that's been in the wastewater in New York State. All that's going to come crashing down on January 21st on the Trump administration. We need a really, really good team to be able to handle this.
Kind of interesting. All of this stuff all of a sudden starts happening now. Kind of weird, if you ask me. Pretty weird. And it's actually confirmed by the CDC. CDC confirms first severe case of H5N1 bird flu in the U.S. Yeah. You see it there? Okay. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. But as always, let me know your thoughts and your opinions on all of this. Like I said, I think this is planned. Of course. Another tactic to sabotage Trump's presidency, in my humble opinion. Now, do I have any facts to back that up? No, not necessarily. But all of this stuff is quite interesting. You know what Dr. Fauci said before his first term, what Peter Hotez what you just heard him say. Oh, January 21st, all of this stuff is going to drop. Interesting. Okay. What do you guys think? Does this have something to do with the illegals that have come from all over the place? Who knows where some of these folks have come from? Does it have something to do with that? Maybe that's where some of these viruses are cropping up from. I'm sure it has a little bit to do with it, at least, at minimum, a little bit. You know, when you have millions upon millions of people rushing into the country from other countries that, you know, obviously aren't as advanced as America, they may bring diseases with them. That's just a fact. I'm not saying all people are dirty or anything like that, but I feel like that's just that's just par for the course. That's just common sense, in my humble opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Talk to me. What do y'all think? Crazy stuff ahead. Crazy stuff. Stay vigilant. Peace and love. I'm out.